Chapter 8 deals with linear systems. And there is actually an entire course called linear algebra, and we're just going to kind of scratch the surface in linear algebra. Some of you, if you go into engineering or computers, you will take linear algebra, maybe even some of the other science classes. Linear algebra is actually a pretty neat class. It's not that tough. So this will help you with that. We're going to start off with easy things like substitution and elimination. So if you take a look at number 2, if I want to solve using substitution, what do I need to do? Okay, be more specific. I need to isolate one of the variables. Now, for number 2, which variable is the easiest to isolate? Either x or the bottom y. Why not the top y? It's a negative, so you'd have to move something and then multiply by negative. So let's isolate this. I'm going to move the y over by addition. So I get x equals y plus 10, and then I substitute it. Minus 10. Thank you. So I'm going to substitute that in for x. And y minus 10 plus y equals 4, which means 2y equals, we're going to add 10, 14. So y equals 4. What does that number tell me? Oh my goodness. Y equals 7. There we go. What does y equals 7 mean? That's the y coordinate of the intersection of those two lines. So we now know that these two lines in fact intersect. Is it possible for two lines not to intersect? Yes. We'll talk about that in a second. So where do I want to plug this y equals 7? No. We want to plug it into the one that says x equals. Any one will work. I could put it in here, I could put it in here, but this one is going to be the easiest one. So I plug 7 in there. 7 minus 10 is negative 3. So negative 3 comma 7. That is the coordinate of the intersection. So when we're dealing with two linear equations, excuse me, we could have, hang on a second, let me clone this. We could have two lines that intersect at a single point. What are the other options? Two parallel lines, in which case there's no solution, or two identical lines, in which case the solutions. Now there's a little bit of a discrepancy here. How many solutions does that last one have? An infinite number. Does that mean every point is a solution? No. The solutions are on the line. The line itself is the solution. So we would say the solution here is 1, 2. That has a single solution. This one has no solutions. That's the symbol for the empty set. It's the set. The answer is the set of numbers with nothing in it. And then this one, we say it has infinite solutions, but that doesn't mean every point works. It means the lines themselves are the solution. Any point on the line is a solution. And there's so many of them, we just write infinite solutions. Okay. Now, you may run into the words consistent, inconsistent, dependent, and independent. But consistent just means it has an answer. Inconsistent means it has no answer. So we may run into that. Take a look at number 10. What variable is going to be the easiest to solve for there? One of the y's. Why don't we want to solve for x? Because we're going to have to divide by 3, and neither 2 nor y are divisible by 3, and we're going to end up with a fraction, and it's not going to work. So I'm going to add y over here and subtract 2. So 3x minus 2 equals y. And then I'm going to substitute that in for y. And I get 3x minus 3x minus 2 equals 4. And I need to distribute this negative. So 3x minus 3x plus 2 equals 4. And I'm left with 2 equals 4. What does that mean? 2 never equals 4, so these two equations never touch each other, which means the lines are parallel, so we write no solution. Could I have figured that out before I solved it? Okay, if you're really smart, can 3x minus y equal 2 and 4 at the same time? Not in a linear situation. If it was a quadratic, could one quadratic equal 2 and the same quadratic equal 4? Yeah, because we have two solutions in a quadratic. But these are linear, x to the first, y to the first. So there's no way for 3x minus 2 to equal 2 and equal 4 at the same time, so there would be no solutions. Okay? Let's do 14. What variable do you want to solve for in 14? Pick your poison, right? Which fractions do you like better? One with 10 on the bottom? Sounds good to me. So I'll subtract 6q and divide by 10, and that equals p. So now I'm going to substitute this in for p. So I get negative 5 times 2 minus 6q over 10 minus 3q equals negative 1. So 5 turns the 10 into a 2, right? Then I distribute the negative. So negative 2 plus 6q divided by 2 minus 3q, wait, no, that's right, equals negative 1. Well, what is negative 2 over 2? Negative 1. And what is 6q over 2? So plus 3q minus 3q equals negative 1. The q's cancel. And negative 1 equals negative 1, which means infinite solutions. So can you look at 14 and decide, wait a minute, those are the same equations. If you divide the bottom one by negative 2, then those two equations are identical. Okay. All right. Look at number 22. Now we're moving on to elimination. Elimination, when it works, is usually a lot faster than substitution. So in elimination, I have this value is equal to negative 10, and this value is equal to 8, and both of those are equal. So if I add equal weights to equal weights, I should end up with a new equation that's still equal. So I'm just going to add straight up and down. So x plus x is 2x. Negative y plus y goes away. And negative 10 plus 8 is negative 2. Divide by 2, and I get x equals negative 1. So now I plug in negative 1 wherever I'd like. I'm going to add 1 over here, and I get y equals 9. So negative 1, 9 is the solution to that system. All right, take a look at number 30. If I simply add the two equations in number 30, am I going to end up with, is one of the variables going to eliminate? What do I need to do so that it does eliminate? Times the top one by negative 2. So that gives me negative 22x minus 6y equals negative 6. And it turns out in this case, everything cancels. And we get 0 equals 0, which is infinite solutions. What if everything cancels except the constant? we would get something like 0 equals 6, and that would be no solutions. All right. What about 34? What would you do to 34 to set it up for elimination? All right, if we times the top by 5 and the bottom by -4, that would give me a negative 20y here and a positive 20y there, and then it will eliminate. Okay? Hopefully this is review from a long time ago. Good luck.